South American volcanoes, John Maglio and Jake Williams. The beautiful South American continent, large landmass right below our own continent, with an array of volcanoes running alongside the western edge of it, including a volcano out here in the Galapagos Islands. In general information, of course, South America has the largest land-based volcanic region with 3 areas of volcanoes in the northern, central, and southern Andes mountain range, with 2 gaps of inactive volcanoes going in between them. Plate tectonics. The Nazca Plate subducts below the South American Plate, which created the volcanoes in the process that we see today. And of course, all along South America's western coastline are those same volcanoes I referred to. Peru has 16 volcanoes in its borders, including El Misti, Huambo, Cerro Nicholson, Yucamán, y más. El Misti was the first documented eruption in South America between the years 1438 and 1471. And here's a picture of Peru right here. Oh, nothing. Volcanoes right there. Colombia. Buenos dias, Pablo Escobar. 16 volcanoes as well. Azufral, Cumbal, Romero, Santa Isabel, y más. Colombia has 15 active volcanoes as part of the northern Andes mountain range. And here's Colombia. Nothing. Right there. Volcanoes. Ecuador. How to get its name. 26 volcanoes splitting the country right down the middle. Names of these are Aliso, Altar, Licto, Pan de Azúcar, sugar bread in English, y más. 16 of these volcanoes are active. Ecuador here, and Ecuador with volcanoes running straight through it. Geez Louise, that geography. The Andes mountain range, 3 components, 3 Lego pieces, 3 puzzle pieces. The northern, central, southern Andes. Northern, 2,000 kilometers long. Central, 5,200 kilometers long. Southern, 1,300 kilometers long. Composed of deformed continental crust, accreted oceanic terrains, magmatism, not magnetism, magmatism, and slit strike faulting. A black and white picture here shows the Nazca Plate right here, in a line of arrows showing how it subducts below the South American Plate, creating all those volcanoes that we see run from the northern part of the Andes mountain range, the central part, and the southern part, all down here. The Painilla, forget my pronunciation, the Painilla Quaternary flood basalts. This Argentine volcanic region is made up of basaltic volcanoes. Subduction is running, of course, underneath the South American Plate, which the Painilla is on. Forget the pronunciation. The other plate is running above it, but of course, while both these plates are moving in such, gravity keeps pulling it down as the land keeps terraforming and moving on its own because of the plates. Plate tectonics, of course, as I mentioned, are doing the movement here. In this picture, we have the Painilla zone right above here. Elevation, flat ground, and below the surface. In this picture, we have gravity as the land is being moved around by the plate tectonics. Gravity is affecting it as well as pulling the plate down while the South American Plate is staying above it. And then in this picture, it shows the depth in meters of how far below ground this is going. It's going as low as 300 kilometers below ground. Can you imagine how far that is? In these pictures, we see the topography above ground with some original, modified, and measured volume. Original will give you a basic idea of what the Painilla looks like, but then the modified shows these flat surfaces that look elevated and some unelevated to show you how tall some are compared to others. And then for better elevation awareness, you have measured volume. Some of these areas are taller than the flat ground that stands to this average. And now my assistant.
Hello. So I'll be talking about one specific volcano in Chile. It's actually one landform, but it's two separate volcanoes called Mochochocuenco. These are two stratovolcanoes that were formed during the melting of the Ice Age. And so the taller of the two is Volcano Mocho, which is 2,422 meters high. Two recorded eruptions, both from El Mocho, were recorded between 1864 and 1937, but most experts agree that the 1937 eruption is a false report, and here is why. My fancy paper was all about the deposits that formed from these eruptions, and from the evidence, researchers concluded that the volcanoes Mochochocuenco erupt once every 220 years, and it has experienced about 75 eruptions since its formation. So we had eyewitness reports for the 1864 eruption, but not for the 1937 eruption. And so since it's every 220 years, more or less, and 1937 is less than 100 years, most experts agree that the 1937 eruption is false. The eruptions mostly produce glass, chemical glass or oxides in the form of pumice. And because of how much deposits come from it, it's considered to be, Mochochocuenco is considered one of Chile's most hazardous volcanoes. Looks pretty, right? It's dangerous. Very dangerous. Careful. And then these are all of our sources.